I am about to make an extremely controversial statement. I don't like the Captain Marvel trailer. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm such a big fan of the MCU, and almost all of the trailers, in my opinion, have been really good. I think my favorite trailer is Thor Ragnarok. Led Zeppelin, man, with the Valkyrie and, the swords flying. That slow motion shot was so amazing. I was ridiculously excited for Ragnarok. My second favorite is probably Black Panther, because that scene where T'Challa is in the ship and he crosses arms, falls, and then throws those little magnet things, the music was amazing. There were real moments in the Thor Ragnarok trailer. Hela catches the Mjolnir and shatters it, and you're like, what? And then in Black Panther, you just have these cool sequences where he falls out when he lands on the car and the car flips over in slow motion. You're like, yeah. I didn't feel any of that in the Captain Marvel trailer. It felt kind of dejected. I have no idea what's going on. I can kind of put together that, Carol Danvers fell to Earth for some reason, and then she's kind of walking around. She didn't say much or do much. I don't know much about her. And then here's the worst part. I'm going to say something else that's going to get me ragged on by a lot of people. I do not believe Brie Larson is the right pick for Captain Marvel. I don't. I think she is too unimposing. When I see her standing there in the train terminal in the trailer, I hope you've seen the trailer by now, because if you didn't, it's pointless watching this. But they dropped the trailer. She just doesn't exude charisma and strength. And then when Sam Jackson says, "You're not from around here," and she says something like, it's hard to explain, the way she delivers the lines is just too timid. There's no strength behind her voice. So I got this article pulled up, and I don't care too much to read through it because I think we get this, but so this scene in particular, it's like she's in a train terminal or something. She just doesn't have a look of strength. She doesn't have a look. And this is just me. Maybe you really love Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, but I feel like she doesn't have an imposing presence that says she is. Look, she's supposed to be the most powerful hero in the MCU right now. She's effectively going to be like their Superman, and I just don't feel it. And I think it really comes down to the acting. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know Brie Larson from a lot of stuff other than Scott Pilgrim, where she was a musician and singer, so I don't know what her range would be. But in terms of the lines she does deliver in the trailer, I just felt they were really weak, okay? And listen, I have a reason for this opinion, because in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the voice actress for Captain Marvel does a really, really good job. I was really, really impressed with the voice acting for Captain Marvel. So, I don't know, I'll just play some.
Armor, no shield, no hammer, no arrows? Interesting. I need to see all the pictures you took of me. Understand?
See, this is, I believe, is Grey Griffin. She plays Captain Marvel. I'm not entirely sure who Grey Griffin is outside of this, but she's in Batman, she's in Injustice. So clearly it looks like the voice actress for Captain Marvel in the video game has a ton of experience. I don't know if she has more or less than Brie Larson, but Brie Larson just doesn't have that strength that Grey Griffin does have. And it could be that playing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite ruined, the character for me, in that Brie Larson can't match up to my expectations, and it's possible. But other than that, okay, so let me read this. It says, Danvers, a half-human, half-Kree warrior, has been living with the Kree on their homeworld Hala during their time with the Star Force, and before her fated fall to Earth. Notably, Hala is also the name of the last surviving Kree accuser, a sort of space police force bounty hunter group. The trailer teases a glimpse of the skyline of the city of Hala. Okay, I have no idea what any of this is. In the trailers for Thor, I know what's happening, right? Hela grabs the hammer and explodes, and you're like, whoa, I kind of know what to expect. Something crazy happens. We see that. The backgrounds were different because, they kind of changed it. We see him jump up and punch Hulk. You have these big moments where you're like, wow, something is happening. But all of these images that I see, I don't get what this is. I don't know what this is. Captain Marvel Mohawk? Okay. So you have cool imagery. I don't know what it is, though. And it could, maybe I'm not a big enough fan of Captain Marvel, but maybe comic fans know what this is, but I really don't think it's good. And I'm going to say this. I know a lot of people are going to be like, I guarantee there's going to be people accusing me of sexism, saying that, oh, you don't like Captain Marvel because it's a woman or whatever. Absolutely not true. Wonder Woman was awesome because Gal Gadot does have an imposing presence. When you see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, like when I look at that, I'm like, that's someone that I feel is powerful. And what was really cool about Wonder Woman, I know there's like a lot of people who don't like it, but I think most people really did like it. It was a great movie. The reason I loved Wonder Woman was Chris Pine juxtaposed with Gal Gadot was this like masculine versus feminine approach, and it was amazing. Wonder Woman's super ridiculously powerful, but she's also overly empathetic and sympathetic. She thinks that she can solve all these problems just by taking out, like one person, Ares. And Chris Pine is explaining in a more pragmatic way, like sometimes there's war and there's nothing you can do about it. Even when you think people are good, they're not. So Wonder Woman was awesome. And, here's what's going to happen. I predict if this doesn't do well, hold on. I think the movie's going to do really well. But if for some reason people don't like it, any negativity they're going to say sexism. Oh no, they're being sexist and all that stuff. Personally, I thought the trailer was rather cringy. Like, when she falls into the blockbuster, it's like, we get it. It's the 90s. She fell into a blockbuster. She's apparently wearing like a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt, and I'm like, we get it, man. It's the 90s. Now, the t-shirt, I understand. Like, that's fine. People are going to wear t-shirts from the 90s. But falling into a blockbuster, laying it on a little thick. And then this scene with the old lady smiling at her, and then she punches the old lady in the face. Like, okay, like, we get it. It's a Skrull, and the Skrulls can shapeshift. I really was not feeling this. So, well, let's see what this article says. So, Danvers presumably dispatching the Skrull. It looks like she and Fury team up to take the alien into a research facility where it goes under the knife, I guess. Danvers is rocking a shield hat, and Fury, weapon at the ready, is holding an ice pack to his left eye. Could the altercation have necessitated his iconic eye patch? And that might also be Mendelssohn's Skrull in disguise, Talos looking on as an undercover S.H.I.E.L.D. infiltrator. Listen, they're giving us Nick Fury without the eye patch. They're giving us this is a prequel in so many ways, and I just think prequels are always so cheap because, okay, we get it, Nick Fury is going to lose his eye or something, and then we're going to go, oh, that's how it happened. And it's like, oh, come on, man. And then Coulson's apparently in this too, and I'm pretty worried, I gotta say. But let's get to the next point where I'm like, it's not an origin story, apparently. It starts with her having her powers, but is an origin story. And then the trailer, for some reason, does this weird like sequence of like a little girl to teenager to like adult to like Air Force pilot to Captain Marvel, and I just don't know what they're conveying. Let me repeat this, okay? In Thor Ragnarok, we know what they're saying. Hela has come back. They show a scene where she's throwing swords and everybody dies. She destroys the hammer, and I'm like, this is what the movie's going to be about. In this, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. And I'm surprised. This is the first trailer I've ever been like, no way, really? I was this morning I wake up, I'm like, I'm gonna watch it because I'm super excited. I gotta say, man, the Ragnarok trailer is maybe my all-time favorite trailer for a movie, period. Mostly because Zeppelin, and Zeppelin's amazing. But that slow motion scene of Hela throwing the sword, and I'm like, the Valkyrie riding in, I'm like, whoa, I gotta see this movie. Hela destroying the hammer, this does not compare. As the trailer teased, Carol Danvers will be dealing with memories of the past as they clash with where she finds herself in the present. We can expect a fair amount of flashbacks and time turning in the upcoming film, but one thing's for sure, Danvers knows how to work a flight jumpsuit. I guess. So it's an origin that isn't an origin. To me, that also feels kind of cheap. Why didn't they just make it an origin story? Why did it have to be about the Skrulls? And are the Skrulls going to screw with the continuity of the MCU? Because look, if the Skrulls infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D., or something to that effect, infiltrating the planet, Hydra had already infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. a long time ago, and then you have this weird clash of like, look, I do have faith in Marvel Studios to do this right. There is a bit of me that's concerned that they're making Captain Marvel the next like big hero that's going to tie the next phase together or whatever, simply because it's about having a female superhero. But I will say this. I think Captain Marvel could have been done better by someone else. I feel like Brie Larson might just be, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to be insulting or disrespectful, but she looks like she is a small, frail person. Again, not meant to be disrespectful. That's just how I perceive her. I'm not saying it's true. Like, I know people are going to freak out and say I'm being sexist, but let me defer to Gal Gadot, who does look powerful and does have an imposing figure that, you see, like the way Gal Gadot is great as Wonder Woman. She exudes power, right? So they say Danvers alongside newcomer Lashana Lynch stars as Maria Rambeau, one of Carol's oldest friends who's an Air Force co-pilot with the call sign Photon. It's funny because, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel has photon blast, haha. And a single mother to a young daughter. You think the character will somehow tie into Marvel Comics' Monica Rambeau? You might be right. And then they show this. There's another thing. When they show her glowing and, like, emitting power, I feel like we might have a kind of, like, Mary Sue scenario where Captain Marvel is just the most powerful. To me, it feels kind of pandering for them to be like, Captain Marvel is the most powerful superhero we've ever seen, and it's like, how convenient that you wanted to make a movie with a female lead, and you didn't make a Black Widow movie first, okay? Because another thing, Scarlett Johansson is amazing as Black Widow. Where's that movie? It's coming out later? They could have done that a long time ago. I definitely pay to see that. But now we have, dude, let me say this too. Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, amazing. What, like Scarlett Johansson as the master spy, Black Widow, the assassin. She definitely has power behind her in her voice, in her character, in how she fights. You see her like in Iron Man 2, I think she made her debut. You can tell when she flips happy over in the boxing ring. You're like, damn. Maybe I'm wrong, okay? Maybe the movie is going to be fine. But when I see these photos of Brie Larson glowing, I'm just like, dude, I really don't feel it, man. Like, I just don't. The voice, when she speaks, I don't feel any charisma or power behind that. So you know what? Look, that's just how I feel. If you're mad at me for how I feel, I'm going to get a bunch of people being like, oh, damn, being sexist. Sure, whatever, all right? I'm definitely going to see the movie. I'm not going to judge Brie Larson based on a few clips. Maybe she does a really good job, and maybe it'll be awesome. I've not seen a bad Marvel movie, in my opinion. So you know what? Maybe it'll be good. But I will say I am concerned because I have no idea what the movie's about outside of like a Skrull invasion. I don't know, man. Even like Ant-Man was amazing. But we'll see what happens, definitely. This opening with the blockbuster segment was kind of like a really bad first impression. It's like, we get that it's in the 90s, man. You don't need to show us her falling into a blockbuster video. That's kind of cringy, and that set a bad tone for the rest of the trailer, in my opinion. But I don't know. Hey, it's just not. Can we have something? Can I just be critical of a trailer for once and not be accused of politicizing something? Oh, whatever. But anyway, if you stick around, I will have some actual political videos coming up in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out.